Sky Schutte with Business English for Professionals. I wanted to give you a little bit of information about this course, how it's structured, and who it's for. So this is a video course made for all e-learners of any background or level. Whether you're a native English speaker or an English as a second language speaker, this course is for you. So it's made to improve and perfect your use of the English language for international business communications. It helps you to improve comprehension and speaking capacity, writing ability, etc., etc. So you have very well structured, perfect international business English. So I wanted to give you a little bit of information about myself. My name is Sara Schutte. I am the professor and creator of Business English for Professionals. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona in the US. I have lived abroad in Europe for about 20 years in the Czech Republic, in Italy, in France, and in the Netherlands. I've been based in Italy for over 15 years, and I have taught English as a second language and also business communications for over 10 years. And I've worked in marketing and communications for lots of different international, multinational companies throughout Europe. I've also taught business English at the University of Parma in Italy. So let's go ahead and get started with a little information about this course. One of the things that I wanted to show you was the structure and the content of what we will be looking at. So we'll first look at our learning methods. How are you going to learn? This also requires resources, really good resources for you to use in English, and also websites, apps, etc., that are helpful as tools and instruments for you to learn. We're also going to look at grammar formulas. We have an analytical method. Oh, we've got a special guest. Hi, Bimba. Every once in a while, Bimba will join us because she is my chair cat. So she's kind of like my parakeet. So yeah, or my parrot, or, you know, if I was a pirate, I'm not a pirate. But in any case, hi, Bimba. See you later. Okay. Special guest. She'll be back later. In any case, we also have, again, the grammar formulas. We'll take a look at those. We have tricks and recommendations for language learning. So the easy ways to remember to apply the language. We'll also look at, of course, practice methods, how you can practice every day for your listening comprehension, your writing comprehension, your actual writing, and of course your speaking. So we'll look at those, and of course the practical applications for business English and business communications. Now, one of the first things I want to show you is our verb tenses and forms. Now this, of course, is a structure that is made in an analytical way for adult learning specifically, because it gives you a little bit of the logic behind the English grammar. So of course, in every language, we have three tenses, three verb tenses. We've got the present, the past, and the future. Now, in the English language, we have the forms, which are simple, continuous, perfect, and a compound form, the first compound, which is a perfect continuous. Now, of course, we've got present simple, we've got past simple, future simple, present continuous, past continuous, future continuous, present perfect, past perfect, future perfect, and so on and so forth. So once you understand these forms and the structures of them, it's very easy to understand how to use them and apply them. We'll also be working with the timeline, which makes it very simple to understand and very logical. Beyond that, we also have the compound forms, which are the passives, the modal verbs, and then we've got some other forms of verb structures and sentence structures, which are the imperatives, of course, the conditionals, and reported speech. So we'll take a look at all of those, all fundamental for speaking English correctly. Beyond this, we're going to also look at some of the passive and active techniques for learning. So this is necessary, again, for you to understand passively, but then also be able to produce the language, to be able to speak and write, etc. So we're going to have in this course, about 60 to 70% is going to be the passive form, which is reading articles, watching videos, and listening to MP3s or podcasts, etc., etc. We're also then going to transform that knowledge into speaking. So speaking during presentations, asking questions. It's important to know how to formulate an interrogative correctly. Writing summaries and translating new vocabulary. So all of the active forms of learning, which will give you a good base in the language so you can produce the language when you need to, how you need to, correctly and effectively and efficiently. So Other than this, we will also take a look at some of the websites and apps which are necessary for language learning. So I'll give you all of the resources you need. These are the best instruments and tools on the market today for language learning. We have translation apps, translation websites. There's a couple that are the best. We've got websites for definitions. So dictionaries, for example, in the English language, which give you in-depth definitions of words in English. We've got lists of synonyms and antonyms in a thesaurus. These are the lists of all of similar words, which can be substituted so you can grow your vocabulary, and also antonyms. So they are opposite words with an exact opposite meaning. Other than this, we'll also look at resources for understanding antonyms and defining antonyms. Antonyms such as SUV, VIP, etc. These are used across the board in the English language. Sometimes they're used for official, for example, organizations, etc., or official definitions, terminology, and you need to have a resource where you can source these acronyms, define them, and understand them. So I'll give you one of those. We also have slang and expressions. So slang is used also in the business world. Expressions are definitely used in the business world, phrasal verbs, etc. So where you can resource these, where you can find the definitions and explanations and have a tool in order to understand this language. Now, beyond that, we also have business English learning. So of course, we need to look at media, articles, videos, TV news, etc., and be able to understand this. So we're going to look at media such as newspapers and publications, which are pertinent to you, which are important to your sector, your area of business, and your interests, so that you can understand the written forms in English and practice very high level English for business applications. We're also going to look at video and TV news, of course, social media. Social media any longer is a very good source of information if you know the right sources, if you know which pages to like or which outlets to follow on social media. And this includes news, of course, but also entertainment sources for personal interests. Educational platforms and language platforms, there are a lot of these as well, which are useful tools for learning. And then I'm also going to recommend one of the best English textbooks on the market for business English, for extra practice, really good grammar breakdowns, again, more additional structures to understand, and application and practice, as in actually writing your questions and answers. So this is something that we will look at. Beyond this, we'll look at some of the other aspects of language learning and have lots of tools and things to work with. So I'm looking forward to starting this course with you. One of the things I wanted to mention is you will find information on the Business English for Professionals website, which is right here, and I'll give you a link on the pages that I'm posting this video. So this is the address right here. And if you're in Italy and you get a hold of one of these cards right here, then you will be able to have a discount both on the e-course, and we will be holding conferences in the Firenze area of Italy. So more on that later. Okay, have a good day. I look forward for you to join us and getting started with our e-course, which will be published soon. Thanks so much. See you then.